Who is speaking? May I know? Hello?
Archit Jaiswal.
Archit. Okay, okay. You are in Aurangabad or outside Aurangabad?
In Aurangabad, sir, from Aurangabad.
Okay, okay, okay. So you know that we have already started with Vidalaji. Correct? And now there is still time, no? 2 minutes more, no?
Yes, sir.
I am seeing people joining. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One minute, please. I think only few people have come, ne? Hello? Hello? आता मला हे दिसतंय पार्टिसिपंट्स हा मला हे म्हणजे
हे बंदच करून टाका सर आता आले 1980 स्टुडंट आहे
बाकीचे कुठे दिसत आहे का कसे बघायचे
नाही फक्त अकाउंट दिसते बाकीचे भरपूर दिसत नाही क्लोज करून टाका
ऐकू येईल त्यांना
हो हो
आणि समजा मला त्यांच्याशी बोलायचं असेल त्यांनी सगळ्यांनी ऑफ केलंय ना
आपण केलं त्यांना बोलायचं असेल ना तेवढं ऑन करतात ते
मग ते कसं ऑन करतात ते
त्यांच्याकडे ऑप्शन येतं तसं दिसतं त्यांना
अच्छा
तुम्ही हे क्लोज करून टाका आणि लेक्चर स्टार्ट करून द्या
ओके थँक्यू
विचार त्यांना आवाज येतोय
हॅलो Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning, good morning. So, as we are progressing and we are discussing immunology, In the last lecture, we discussed about immune response. And now one more aspect of immunology we are going to discuss. It is transplantation and tumor immunity. So when it comes to immunity, now we know how important it is. Correct? So when we are discussing immunity, certain terminologies are one should be very well acquainted with this type of terminology, like what is primary immune response, secondary immune response, AMI, that is antibody mediated immunity, cell mediated immunity, which we discussed in last lectures, where we discussed what is the role of AMI, what is the role of CMI. So today topic is transplantation and tumor immunology. So transplantation, when do you require transplantation? Transplantation when the organ is damaged or diseased. In such cases, we may require transplantation. Correct? So diseased organs are to be replaced with the new one, or diseased tissues are to be replaced with the new one, and we call it as a transplantation. So when it comes to transplantation immunity, it is very much interesting subject, because what happens when you go for transplantation, you are planting something which may not have an antigenic similarity with the person who is receiving it. So various types of reactions can occur, correct, which may result in rejection of the graft, correct. So what are the types of transplant? We say it is autograft, when graft from one side to another side is applied in same individual. For example, skin graft. So in cases of, say, when there is a non-healing ulcer or burns, we are taking the skin and we are taking the skin from patient only, correct? The intact skin, and we are applying it to the site where it is required. So we say such type of grafts are called as autograft. Isografts are the one which are made in the individuals having the similar genetic constitution. For example, grafts made between twins. Allografts is the third terminology. These are the graft between non-identical members of the same species. Correct? They are from the same species, but these are non-identical members genetically. And xenograft means it can be a graft taken from the different species only. So this is the basic thing we should know when we are discussing transplantation. So whenever we go for transplantation, I told you, as a result of disease process in the organ or damaged organ, in such condition, we may, can you hear me? Because I am getting echo. In such condition, some time when we go for transplantation, we see various type of reaction, as a result of which graft will be rejected. So in that case, we should know what is allograft rejection. So what happens when you go for transplantation? You transplant the organ or a tissue. The graft is going to become initially vascularized in 2 to 3 days. Too much of vascularization, microcapillary development. By 4 days, there is an inflammation. And later on, at the graft site, there is an invasion by lymphocytes and macrophages. Correct? This is going to cause decrease in the vascularity of the organ due to thrombosis. And later on, the graft, which you are grafted, transplanted, undergoes ischemic necrosis. It sloughs off by 10 days, and this whole procedure we call it as a first set response. And here the rejection is primarily due to TS cells, which are going to activate the cytotoxic T cells, T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, and macrophages. Like we know what are TS cells in CMI we are studying, correct? So activation of a cytotoxic T lymphocyte. So you remember my last lecture I told you CMI plays a role in allograft rejection. When we are discussing CMI, role of CMI in viral infection, in a, you can say, dealing with the cancer cells, correct? So that type, when we are discussing CMI, so now you can recollect how does CMI or the activated cytotoxic T lymphocyte, B lymphocyte, and macrophages are going to help or are going to cause allograft rejection. Now, suppose if you do a second graft in the same individual, like there is a graft rejection, time which has been told. I already told you that 2 to 3 days there is going to be inflammation, invasion, and then there is going to be later on thrombosis, the vascularity is reduced, ischemia of the graft occurs, ischemic necrosis occurs, and graft is sloughed off by 10 days. So that was the first set of reaction. Now again in the same patient we try the graft second time, correct? And in the same individual. This whole process will say that this is occurring again, but this is going to be in an accelerated manner. And this is called an accelerated rejection. On the second day, only, on the 6th day only, you are going to have the rejection. So first, when it was the primary, this our first set of response, it took 10 days. Now it is taking only 6 days. Correct? So it is an accelerated rejection. And this is called as second set response. And this is due to CAY and antibodies. Correct? So antibodies are also playing part in this rejection. So why this occurs? Histocompatibility has been already covered in your previous lecture. So you know what are HLA antigens and all that. It is a histocompatibility antigen which are specific for individuals. When recipient possesses all the antigens, so you know recipient is the person who is receiving the graft and donor is the person who is giving the graft. Correct? From whom the tissue has been taken or organ is taken and is transplanted into a patient. So the patient is the recipient and the person who is giving the organ is going to be a donor. We are going to call him a donor. So when recipient possesses all the antigens present in the graft, then the transplantation is going to be successful. Correct? That means, in nutshell, if the antigens are going to be there, the recipients are going to possess all the antigens in the graft, which are present in the graft, then transplantation is going to be successful. So you know about HLA system. And how do you do the HLA system? It has been already discussed. There are two methods. We have to do typing, correct? Whether the organ is suitable for the person, correct? And for that thing, we are doing two types of testing. That is cytotoxic test and mixed lymphocytic culture reaction. In HLA, they have told you, correct? So go through it. Prevention of graft rejection, like you know, it is the immune response, correct? And prevention should be there. Otherwise, what will happen? Graft will be rejected and patient will be in problem, correct? We want the graft to be there so that the thing will function. For example, if it is a kidney, you are transplanted, correct? If graft survives, then it is good for patient. Otherwise, if it is rejected, then there is going to be a problem. So how you can prevent the graft rejection? Now remember, this is due to the immune response of an immune system of a recipient. So you have to do something to suppress the immune responses. And for that thing, irradiations can be tried. Steroids can be tried, which are immunosuppressant. Or anti-lymphocytic serum can be given. Or antifungal agent like cyclosporin A, rapamycin, this can be given. So that immune response of a person will be suppressed and graft rejection won't be there. But there are some privileged sites where allograft survive. For example, when it comes to cornea, cartilage and testis. Cornea, you know, is devoid of a vasculature. Correct? So graft, corneal graft, there is no question of rejection. So these are the privileged sites, we say. Cornea is a privileged site. Now, if you consider a mother who is pregnant, fetus is also allograft, but it is surviving. Why does it survive? And you can say gestation goes on for 9 months and the baby is delivered out of the womb. So fetus being an allograft, but it survives. So exact mechanisms are not known, but there are some reasons put forth. One is that there are some local hormones, which are placental hormones, which are locally immunosuppressive. Maybe that is helping the baby to remain there and not get rejected. Second thing is a mucoprotein of placenta. The mucoproteins are secreted by placenta. They are going to coat the fetal cells. So fetal cells are not coming in a contact with a maternal immune system. Correct? In that case, because of that thing, fetus, although it is allograft, it is going to survive. Third thing is that mother is producing some blocking antibody to fetal antigen. So what will happen is blocking antibody are going to block the antigen, fetal antigens. And so they are not, what you can say, pose the challenge to the immune system of a mother. And so naturally, the fetus is going to, or the fetus and the allograft is going to survive. Correct? And then there are some agents, like we know, alpha fetoprotein, correct? Beta glycoprotein, which are produced by the fetus. So they are having an immunosuppressive action. And so this makes the survival of fetus, and fetus as an allograft is survived. Correct? So I think when we are discussing, this thing should be clear. Correct? So what we have learned so far, that the person from whom organ or tissue is taken is donor. The person who receives is recipient. HLA compatibility testing is must before going for grafting, so that chances of graft survival are good, rejection chances are reduced. In spite of that, patient will be put on the drugs, long-term drugs. Various means can be adopted to suppress the immune response of the patient so that graft rejection can be avoided. Correct? And what are the privileged sites where allograft survive? Correct? Like cornea, that is the best example. Now, what is graft versus host reaction? Now, this is the condition where graft is mounting an immune response against antigen of the host. Correct? Previously, what we saw in rejection, immune system of a host mounting the response against the organ which was transplanted. Here, graft is mounting an immune response against antigen of host. And this is called as graft versus host reaction. Are you getting it? Can you listen? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, okay. So graft versus reaction is graft mounting an immune response against antigen of the host. Now, graft versus host reaction, when it is going to occur? When graft contains immunocompetent T lymphocytes. MSC antigen of recipients activates these lymphocytes. So it is the recipient's MSC antigen, it is going to activate these T cells. Now, this is going to lead to production of lymphokines, TC cells, antibodies, and then they attack the recipient cell. See the situation. It was the MSC antigen of a recipient getting that activates this T cells, and these are going to produce the cytokines. I told you what are cytokines, correct? In last lecture when we discussed about CMI, correct? Cytokines, interleukin, correct? Various tumor necrosing factor we have discussed their sources and how they contribute to the immune response, correct? So MSC antigen of recipient activates these T cells. That is going to lead production of cytokines, lymphokines, TC cells, antibodies, and they are going to attack the recipient cell. So that is cause of a graft versus host reaction. So recipient possesses HLA antigen that are absent in graft. In that case also, there will be a graft versus host reaction. And third thing, suppose if recipient's immune response is suppressed too much, maybe due to some causes or irradiation is given to patient. In that case also, here you are going to have graft mounting an immune response against antigen of the host. And then we say it is a graft versus host reaction. So remember these three conditions. Okay? Graft containing immunocompetent T cell, MSC antigen of recipient activates this T cell. That is going to cause production of T cells, antibodies, lymphokines, and then they are going to attack the recipient cell. Recipient is possessing HLA antigen that are absent in the graft. And third thing is recipient's immune response is suppressed. There is irradiation. Right? So these are the conditions we should know. Graft versus host reaction is a CMI, that is cell-mediated immune response. In last lecture we have discussed what is CMI. and what is the role of CMI in graft versus host reaction. So I told you that when we'll be discussing about immune response in chapter of transplantation, you will know more about that part. I told you CMI is going to contribute to the autoimmune disorders, in hypersensitivity reaction, in defense against viruses, in defense against intercellular organism, and so on. So one of the aspects is CMI is that graft versus host is a cell-mediated immune response. Graft versus host reaction is a cell-mediated immune response. This can be manifested in the form of fever, rash, anemia, splenomegaly, weight loss, death, etc. Correct? Now coming to the next part, that is tumor immunity. We have been discussing that tumor immunity, and in last lecture I told you CMI plays an important role in a immunological surveillance of the cancer cells. Right? So how does this occur? That we are going to study. Whenever there occurs a malignant transformation in the cell, they start reproducing like anything. There is a production of what you can say infinite number of cells, and then they are going to be a functionless cell. And then we say there is a development of microtumor, which may progress to a big tumor. So it is a malignant transformation when occurs. New antigens are expressed on this type of cells. Correct? And some antigen of the cell may be lost. Correct? Now what happens in such cells? New antigens will be recognized as a non-self, but body generally accepts and knows what is self one and what is non-self one. Correct? So in general, there is no reaction against the self antigen. There is a reaction against the foreign antigen. So when the tumor cell is infected, you have got a new antigen expressed on the tumor cell. So naturally, these antigens are recognized as a foreign one, you can say, non-self, and hence can be considered as an allograft. Body is going to consider this as allograft. Sorry. And then body is expected to mount an immune response. There are two types of antigens, like tumor antigen, TSL, this tumor specific antigen. These are present in the malignant cell, but these are absent in the corresponding normal cell of the host. These antigens induce an immune response when tumor is transplanted in syngeneic animal. Suppose you are going to take this tumor, correct, and induce and transplant it into the syngeneic animals, you are going to have an immune response. Such tumor-specific antigen induces rejection of tumor transplant in immunized host, and these are termed as tumor-specific transplant antigen, or TATA. Fetal antigens, alpha fetoprotein, carcinoembryonic antigen. These are actually alpha fetoproteins are the earlier proteins which are produced by the infant in the womb. Baby is producing it, correct? Or CEA. So as there is a delivery and baby starts growing, the proportion of alpha fetoprotein falls down. Reappearance of this alpha fetoprotein or carcinoembryonic antigen. This indicates differentiation of malignant cell to primitive form. Correct? So when this type of things appear in the circulation in a patient, we say these are tumor markers. What is expected? They should not be detected in patient once the baby is born and then it grows and adults. So their proportion is going to get decreased. But if they are detected, that indicates a differentiation of a malignant cell to a primitive form. Correct? That means this can be used as a, what you can say, tumor markers for detection. So presence of this, if you detect in the serum, you know that probably there is a malignancy. What are the immune responses in malignancy? Sensitive T cells are going to attack foreign tumor cells and limits its growth. Delayed type of hypersensitivity T cells are going to kill. They are going to kill by production of lymphokines. And natural killer cells kills tumor by antibody-dependent cytotoxicity. And third, next thing is the humoral response. That also plays an important role in malignancy. So it is the immunological surveillance which is continuously going on, correct, to take care of this unwanted cell. Whenever there is a lapse in the immunological surveillance, there is going to be a cancer. Now, this process is going on is known by the fact that it has been seen that in people, many of the time who have died of some other cause, at the autopsy, you find big tumor. But patient never had the symptom of the tumor. That means it was almost controlled. So that indicates presence of neurological surveillance, which is going on. Correct? And because of this thing, what happened, when the population of such type of cells can be taken care of, there may not be a manifestation of malignancy. When this cannot be taken care of by this immunological surveillance, then there is going to be what you can say manifestations of malignancy. And this occurs when there is a lapse of immunological surveillance. Second is sneak through. So what happens? Some malignant cells are produced because of immunological response. These are taken care of, they are morphed out. Correct? But the condition where there is a fast growth of this tumor, before appearance of immune response, they have grown very fast, so that immune response cannot take care of them. So we say that sneak through has happened, and that is the reason why the tumor has grown. In addition to that, there are circulating tumor antigen. Now what happened? I told you, whenever the tumor cell is there, correct, there is going to be an expression of the newer antigen. Self-antigen may loss. Now this type of tumor antigen or these tumor antigens are going to get circulated. And then they are going to form a smoke screen, which is going to coat the lymphoid cells and then prevent them acting on the tumor. Correct? So, lymphoid cell are the cells which are capable of causing immune response against the tumor cell. These are what you can say masked because of the circulating tumor antigen. So that is a smoke screen site of thing. This smoke screen coats the lymphoid cell, and then there is going to prevent them acting on the tumor. And next thing is circulating antigen antibody complex cell. So what happens? These antigens are shed. There is an immune response. Antibodies are there, and these are going to get attached to this antigen. Some of these antigens are now started, what you can say, shaded in the circulation. They are taken care of this antibody, and antibodies are acting against them. Antigen antibody complexes are formed. But what happens? As immune response is taking care of the circulating antigen, the main culprit tumor may remain unaffected, and it keeps on growing. So that is the reason why it has been seen that such a large tumor remains unaffected because immune response is there, but it is taking care of these antigen antibody complexes, and so main tumor remains there. Correct? As such, it keeps on growing. And this has been proved by the fact that when the main mass is removed or a critical mass of the tumor is removed, correct, remaining things are taken care by this immune response and patient may improve. So this is the immunological surveillance. Immunotherapy of cancer, lot has been discussed in your lectures. BCG vaccine, we know that is capable of, what is CMI, injection of the CMI. That may cause activation of natural killer cell, macrophages, and it may be useful in carcinoma lung, melanoma. Right? Cornybacterium parvum, the organism, correct, can be used to, or can have role in a carcinoma of lung. As such as dinitropurobenzene agent, this can be important in squamous cell and basal cell carcinoma treatment. And some immunomodulator drugs which modulate the immunity, levumisol. Basically, this is an anti-worm drug or deworming agent. So that also has got a role because it modulates the immune functions and it may help in the immunotherapy. Specific immunotherapy can be tried, that is vaccination with the tumor antigen, in the hope that when we are giving tumor antigen, immune response will be mounted against the tumor antigen. Treatment with transfer factor, correct? If you do transfer factor, there may be improvement. or monoclonal antibodies can be used to or against the antigen which are expressed newly or tumor antigen. And if you tag this monoclonal antibody with cytotoxic drug, then that will be taking care of the tumor cells. So that is the third one. And then what you can say lymphokine activated killer cells. So this is in brief nutshell about immunotherapy of cancer. So thank you very much for kind listening. So with this chapter, I think my part on immunology is almost over. Correct? Is there any question? Okay. So thanks for kind listening. Are there any questions? With this, we conclude transplantation and tumor immunity. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay.
Sir.
Good day. Take care. Okay.